The Aggies, the Jazz, the high schools. If it's the sport you care about, we're talking about it. The Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
Hey!
Welcome
What's going
to
on?
the Full Court Press.
Good afternoon, Ajay.
Hi, Eric.
How are you?
So how does it feel to be a celebrity, to know that everybody and anybody wants to talk to Eric? Even though
I don't
I'm
know.
what brings the color
I don't know what it
to
means
the
to be
show.
a celebrity.
Literally and metaphorically, I bring so much variety to the show.
We were talking to Bernard Rock the other day, and we were talking to Troy Roll. We were talking to Tyler Newbold. We were talking to Spencer Nelson. It was fun talking to all those. Those guys are celebrities.
Yeah, but I mean,
Those guys
I'm just
are
saying, like when
who
students
you line up
come
to see
in
and shake their hand.
and say, "Hey, can we talk to you, Eric?" And I'm like, "Hey, I'm Ajay." Said, "Yeah, we know. We want to talk to Eric." "Oh, I'm sorry. Let me move out of the way so you guys can talk to Eric." It's got to feel so good.
Well, just they were just seeking answers, and I gave them answers.
I was trying to get Gabby the intern.
I think you would probably cause more questions than answers.
Okay. So, well, speaking of which, actually, coming to think about that, there's a couple of students doing some video, and I was like, "I've got a great idea for you. Do you want to turn that off?"
Sorry.
Are you done?
I'm done now.
Trying to do a radio show
Little background
here.
music.
Trying to tell us.
Hey, we're live here, guys. I want you to know
Okay.
that.
I actually thought it was Adam the intern. I wasn't going to
I
say
thought so,
anything,
too. I was
but
like,
I found
oh,
it was your
crap.
computer. I'm like, you know what, Eric? Grow up, Morgan Grimes. So, there's students here they're wanting to do video, right? And I said, you know what? Let me help you. Bring out a picture. So we're gonna have Gabby the intern walking through with her camouflage green sweater. And or even better, okay, like she's looking at that big billboard outside the electric digital cool big bill TV thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And she was just gonna look it
Like
up.
electronic
and
sign?
then they video in slow motion when I pop up, and she's looking up at me. And I just feel like,
Wait, you're on the electronic billboard outside?
yeah, the what's that? What's it called?
Electronic billboard?
Electronic billboard.
Like an ad? Is that what it is?
You have an ad out there?
No, not an ad. No, watch your language, Adam the intern.
Oh, sorry.
Don't swear.
I don't know what you're talking
It's a promo. Is that what it's called?
Yeah?
Yeah, that's what it is. Anyways, don't distract me. So they video as Gabby is looking up, and then there is the brown mamba. And I just think it would have been cool. It would have been really dramatic.
It would have been.
I'm
I'm sure there probably would have been cars crashing on the road.
Oh man,
accidents,
you wouldn't believe the
mass
traffic
hysteria,
lines that it causes
children
when they
crying.
see. Okay, I posted that thing on Instagram, and I got like 6 likes.
You're not on Instagram.
Yeah, excuse me, I baking powder. I'm on Instagram.
You are?
Yeah, you're not, and you told me you were, and I'm kind of angry that you lied to me because I looked for you
I'm there.
and I spelled your name 4
I've
different
never
ways,
visited,
and it still
but I'm
wasn't there. I looked for you. Anyways, I got 6 likes, which is an Instagram personal high for me.
That's your mom. It's your aunt.
No, I think my aunt did like it.
Cousin.
Gabby the intern liked it.
Oh, Gabby. We're up to 4 now.
Yeah.
I still haven't liked it, but, you know.
Okay, I know Adam the intern. You and then Adam goes, I don't have Instagram. Well, aren't you special? Okay, congratulations.
I guess my parents raised
Here's a
me,
gold medal. Here's a gold sticker star.
Hey, you know who deserves a gold medal? The Denver Nuggets.
Oh no!
Yes, they do.
Half a Nuggets beat the Big Mac.
Yeah. They played like they wanted to win.
No, the Jazz just played like they didn't care.
No, look, they scrapped after and they chased every loose ball. They got every 50-50.
Is it
almost every 50-50
Here's the thing:
ball.
is it more Denver or is it more Utah? Yeah, okay, look, even a 7-man team running around like chickens with their heads cut off should not be a fully healthy Jazz team. Should not. That should never, ever, ever happen. There's been a lot of embarrassing losses in Jazz history. Okay, I would mark this up there. That a team that's fully healthy cannot beat a 7-man Denver Nuggets squad on a second end of a back-to-back. Horrible. Which, by the way, they're playing with one really main guy, and it's Jokic. Everyone else has been either shipped off to Peru or wherever else.
But Murray was coming back from his injury, and he's a good player.
Not this early. Shouldn't happen. And here's the thing is, I've been blaming Mike Conley. I've blamed Donovan Mitchell. I've blamed Ingles at times. I've blamed the bench. When are we going to start putting heat on Coach Quinn Snyder for not doing his job? When is he actually going to be put on the hot seat and said, you know, if you can't get the job done with this talented of a roster, you got to go? I'm the biggest Quinn Snyder fan there is.
They went to, the last 7 minutes of regulation without only one bucket.
Yeah. And no adjustments offensively. Now, granted, like Jokic's turnaround, flat-footed, fadeaway jumper should have never went in. He shoots that 10 times, it's going in once, and it just happened to go in that once as last night. That thing was ugly.
Well, look, I mean, the Jazz defensively have played well against Denver. They're in this 5-game losing streak. They haven't always played really good defensively, but they just couldn't get it going enough on them for their own offense.
Here's the thing, though, is that Dozier played, and so did, is it Kanker? I mean, I'm about to say cancer. That would have been really bad. But Millsap, Plumlee, Jeremy Grant, Michael Porter Jr., who, by the way, everybody wants, and Barton, all didn't play.
Yeah, they played 7 guys.
So you're looking at, but here's the thing, is you're looking at 1, 2, 3 double-digit average scoring guys. Two of those 3 guys are also near double digits in another major category in stats, which is assists or rebounds. For both those guys, it's rebounds. And Michael Porter Jr. nearly averages a double-double in points and assists. And none of those guys played. So in return, the Jazz in 34 minutes from Bogdanovic, 16 points. He was 3-10 from deep, 6 of 18 from the field. Rudy Gobert had a good night, 7-10 from the field, and 39 he had 16. He also had 10, so he had 14 boards. But Donovan Mitchell, 8 of 24, 2 of 9 from 3. That guy's an all-star?
Yeah,
give me Devin Booker.
He had 8 rebounds. He was trying to do some other things.
No, stop. He went 8 of 24 from the field for 18 points.
What bothers me more than that?
Points?
What bothers me more than that? He was 0 for 1 at the free throw line. So what that tells me is he wasn't attacking the basket. He wasn't trying to create. He wasn't trying to make things happen for his team. He was settling for some outside shots.
And you know what's even worse than this is that really they played with 6 guys. Because Harris went 0 of 13 from the field, 0 of 6 from deep for the Nuggets. They played with 6 guys. And they beat the Jazz 98-95. Mike Conley, 6 of 13 from the field, 5 of 9 from 3. He had 21. He also had 8 rebounds, 5 assists. That's probably Mike Conley's best game so far this year.
Yeah, I thought Conley did a nice job. I'm a little surprised, though, that we didn't see Clarkson in the closing minutes.
You know what really disappoints me?
Because he plays well against
Denver.
Denver.
Hey, but you know what disappoints me as well is that Joe Ingles is shooting 4 shots. How is a starter making $60 million for your franchise shooting 4 shots? Why are you not creating? Right? Why are we not developing an offense around your best shooters when Donovan Mitchell's having an off night, which, by the way, has been happening a lot. Way too much lately. Really concerned about that. I think Royce needs to get back in the starting lineup. I think you need to bring Joe Ingles off the bench as a 6th man because this isn't working.
And that might be interesting.
5 straight losses and 4 of them should be wins. The only one that I think you count as a true loss is San Antonio. Everything else should be wins. Like this is bad basketball. And you're right, Jordan Clarkson in 23 minutes was 6 of 7 from the field. He had 16, but he didn't play in the final 6 minutes?
No, he was on the bench and to finish the game. In the clutch, he was out. And he's played well against Denver. So I was surprised that we didn't see him in the closing minutes. Donovan wasn't getting it done.
So, trade deadline comes and goes. Jazz make no moves. Now, according to Tony Jones of The Athletic on social media, said that there was ongoing conversations that were fluid but never really materialized. What were they looking for? And by the way, he says they're not done yet because they're in that buyout market. They can go out and buy out somebody and take them either from the local or international perspective. So there's still a chance we're going to get a 3-wing or a 5 to back up for Rudy Gobert because Davis and Bradley haven't got it done.
At least not consistently enough.
Oh no, Bradley's still wearing diapers in the NBA, and Ed Davis just shows up like he's like Casper. He shows up when you least expect it, and when he does, you don't really want him there.
According to Tony Jones, the two players that the Jazz were willing to part with, and the players most likely to be moved, were Ed Davis and Emmanuel Mudiay.
Wait, he announced that?
Well, that's what in his
dude. He's super protective of that stuff, though.
That's in his piece that he put together on The Athletic. That's what he was speculating, because the Jazz don't have draft picks that they can use, so they didn't really have too many pieces they could move.
So here's the thing: is I'm okay moving Bradley. Keep Mudiay. I think he's developing better and better. I think as he gets minutes and he gets experience, he's actually getting the hang of it better. He
didn't play last night.
I know, but
he's a forgotten player right now.
I'm going back to Snyder then, right? Because Exum was inconsistent at best, and he was frustrated when he get pulled off, even after one mistake. And at the time, Mudiay would come in, and he'd have a driver's seat to the Ferrari and wreck it every time. Like, out of control. But yet, he was getting more minutes than Exum. In the end, Mudiay was getting better quicker than Exum was. That's why Exum was gone. All of a sudden,
he totally took
all of a sudden we go
minutes.
back to like putting Mudiay behind bars, and we're just letting this thing.
It's because Clarkson has come along,
and he has absolutely. But when a guy like Mitchell is struggling, when Ingles isn't willing to shoot, or we're not giving him an offense that allows him to shoot, that's where the problems are arising. This is a bad situation. This is a really look. You lose 2 in a row, it happens. 3 in a row, that happens. You lose your fifth in a row to a team with a 7-man roster on a second end of a back-to-back and completely exhausted. Like Jokic said it last night in the postgame. That team was tired. And Mike Malone called, 2 timeouts within the first 9 minutes of the game just to give his team some rest when the Jazz were making a run and were up by 13. And they still found a way to win this ball game. It's on Snyder.
Yeah, I agree that he needs to shoulder a large part of the blame of what's been happening over the last 2 weeks here. That teams have been able to expose the Jazz and beat them in ways that they should have no business doing.
Yeah, it's a problem.
And the lack of proper adjustments to take care of things or to close games out, that's what's frustrating. To not be able to get your guys to the line, to not get Donovan Mitchell to attack the basket. They were afraid of Jokic. He was blocking a shot or changing a shot, and then they wouldn't attack him anymore.
This All-Star break couldn't come soon enough. Like, this All-Star break really needs to, kind of...
Right. This Jazz
put
squad
it in the first gear
to
get here right now, because this team is just... They look like they don't even want to be there. They don't even want to be on the court.
Well, I don't know about that, but I saw
they just lost to a
Denver
7-man Nuggets team.
But I saw a Denver team that was chasing down every loose ball, and the Jazz were just a little more lackadaisical about it. And so Denver got all of them. They got more second chance opportunities. They got turnovers. They made things happen.
So what does that tell you then? If Denver with a 7-man roster is doing more to beat this Jazz team who's healthy, what does that tell you? I mean, the Jazz just couldn't get to it. The ball is bouncing the other way.
I think we saw this with Utah in that 20 of 22 game stretch. Mike Conley was out. Everybody had to elevate their game to compensate for not having their starting point guard in there. They looked well. They all fought better because they knew they were down.
500 basketball teams. Now we crank up the schedule of teams in playoff mode, and we look like we don't even belong in the Western Conference playoffs. This whole thing of Western Conference final contender, throw it out the window. Because teams made improvements with their roster. The Clippers getting Marcus Morris is a huge get for them. Isaiah Thomas, I think, will be flipped for an asset somewhere down the road. But I think Marcus Morris really helps the Clippers. I know that Houston giving away Capella really hurts them because Capella owns Gobert in every way, shape, and form on the court. Well, I still feel like Houston's a better team than Utah right now, which we'll find out, tonight, right? Or tomorrow? Tomorrow, when they play at Houston, I believe. It's coming up. If I'm not mistaken, Adam, the intern, help me here.
Jazz play the Trailblazers.
So Damian's going to go for his average of 50.
Tomorrow.
At our place. That's wonderful.
Right, that game is in Utah. And then they are at Houston on Sunday.
Oh, we're screwed. Yeah, we're done. We're going to go 0-2. Damian's going to put up 51, and he's going to beat us with a game winner from, like, I don't know, half court. And then James Harden's going to shoot 60 shots and score 51 points. Well, and Westbrook's going to have a triple-double.
What Houston is doing with that trade is saying we're committed to going small to the extreme. We're going to go 5 out. Everybody's a ball handler. Everybody's a shooter. And if you're not going to come out and guard us at the 3, we'll shoot it right over the top of you. If you do come out to guard us at the 3, we'll make a move, drive past you, and attack the basket.
That's not going to work in the Western Conference playoffs. That's not going to work. There's no way. Like, every good Western Elite Conference basketball team has a big man who can defend in the paint. Anthony Davis and LeBron James can put that on one team. I'll even put JaVale McGee in that list. Don't ask why, just for kicks and giggles.
Yeah, are you smoking something?
Yeah, I know. It's weird. It's one of those days, though. And then, Clippers have Marcus Morris. San Antonio, I guess they don't have a legit... Kind of play that 4-5 thing, right? Where, the 5 guys really the 4 guy. Give me another contender, though.
The Nuggets.
Jokic?
Yeah, Jokic.
Good old Joker.
Oklahoma City Thunder.
They're not a contender.
I wouldn't say they're a contender. No.
Dude, they're in the playoffs.
Adams.
They're a playoff team. They're a better basketball team than the Jazz are. Yes.
What?
No, stop it. Yes.
Look, they're in the middle of a
Oklahoma
5-game slide. That doesn't mean they've totally fallen apart.
Look at the per possessions from their backcourt, and it is better than what we're getting right now from Mike Conley and Donovan Mitchell. One of them is an all-star. It's bad. I'll take Oklahoma City as a better basketball team all the way around right now, as we speak, than the Jazz. If we play a 7-game series versus Oklahoma City Thunder with home court advantage, it's going 7.
Jazz win in 5.
Yeah, we were supposed to beat the Nuggets by 20 last night, too. How did that go for you?
They were favored by 11.
Thanks for coming, Sally. Have a great night. It doesn't matter. They're a bad basketball team right now who's discombobulated. You like that? Read the dictionary.
Their vocab test, right?
Adam, the intern from left field. Good one.
Hey, keep you on your toes. What can I say?
But it's a team that's a mess, and they need the All-Star break, and they need it now. And now they got to go fight through Damian Lillard and James Harden just to get through the next week.
And then Dallas after that.
Really?
On Monday.
Also, Doncic is going to have a night.
And then they host Miami before the All-Star break.
So Iggy, right, is in Miami. Who else went? Did Gallinari ever go to Miami? Did that ever get worked out? No?
Nope.
Poor kid.
He never moved. He stayed there.
Poor guy. All right. We got to take a break. Do you want to do... Okay, wait. Actually, here. Production on the fly. Do we do our pick 6 now? Because there's a gentleman behind the back door staring at us, waiting for his turn. Okay, so we'll do pick 6 now. Do you want to go to break first?
No, we'll go to break.
Okay, let's go to break.
We'll do our pick 6 because it's a short segment.
Yes. Since you're the celebrity, go ahead and make the decisions.
And then after that, we'll have our special guest, Gary Wilkinson.
Bring him in. Dude, he is so tall. Oh, my gosh, look at him. Gosh, he's a monster.
He is a tall man.
Gary Wilkinson is going to join us, one of the Aggie great big men in Utah State basketball lore. He's one that Stu Morrill, by the way. When you hear Stu Morrill's interview tomorrow, Coach Morrill speaks very highly of Gary Wilkinson. You'll find out why tomorrow. It's a good interview. You'll like to hear that. Al Lewis, tonight at 5 o'clock, legendary voice of the Aggies. Always will be, right? Always will be. I can't wait to get his memories of calling games. And I got to hear the story of how he almost got a technical once. I never got that full story on it.
There's many times over he should have gotten a technical.
Yes. I only heard one story. Nice. I can't wait. So Pick 6 coming up next.
Yep.
With Adam the intern.
6 things we think might happen this weekend. And then, our interviews with Aggie legends continue coming up on the Full Court Press.
106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan. The Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio. 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
Full Court Press, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, The Fan. If you want to stream us, you can do it on 1069thefan.com. We'll get to our above Aggie basketball greats. Above average.
Above average former Aggie basketball players.
There you go. There you go.
Our interview series with above average former Aggies.
Now, it's crazy because when we said that, when you told Spencer Nilsson that yesterday, I thought he was going to lose his mind. He's kind of like, yeah, actually, I agree with that. But then you also, and I suggested Aggies that never won an NCAA tournament game, and he thought that was a little bit harsh. I thought it was all right.
He said all of those would work.
I didn't want to do it, though. I didn't have the heart to. I feel bad, especially for our next guest that's going to be coming up, Gary Wilkinson, who, when I asked Stu Morrill, I got to call him Coach. I can't call him Stu. It feels uncomfortable. But when I asked Coach Morrill, his most heartbreaking NCAA tournament loss, I know Gary will not be surprised by the answer, and I'm sure Gary might feel the same way, too. In fact, I was watching some highlights from that game the other night because I love misery, I guess, and it just I almost want to cry. I seriously almost want to cry when I think about that because I thought we had it in the bag and things went south in a hurry, and so I can't wait to talk to Gary again. He is honestly he was a third team All-American. So think about this: of all the great big men we've had, Gary and Ty Wesley are the two big men All-Americans we've had. Was Nemish Keta an All-American last year? I don't think he was.
No.
Think about that. The records he set in our school, and he wasn't an All-American. Gary and Ty are the only two All-Americans we've had from big men. That is amazing. That stands out to me more than anything else. And so, again, can't wait to have Gary Wilkinson on here in about 15 minutes.
And this has been a fun week. If you missed any of the
much.
episodes, or if you want to go back and hear any of them, again, just go to our website, 1069thefan.com. We have a full podcast library. It's been a lot of fun.
From Bernard Rock to Troy Roll, Spencer Nilsson.
Roddy Anderson.
Yep, and then I guess tomorrow, Marcus Saxon, and of course we cap it off with the great Stu Morrill joining us on the Full Court Press. Kent, you will love Stu's interview. He's a much different person than the grumpy Stu that everybody always remembered.
He's mellowed in retirement?
Yeah, he has mellowed a lot. Hey, it's time for our Pick Six. You know the rules. 3 lines from each of us, plus a tiebreaker from Adam, and hopefully he does a better job than last time.
Did you school him on how his tiebreaker may not have been great?
And he was like, and he kind of brushed it off like, yeah. I'm like, okay.
So here's the thing. I think I win.
Well, so we were debating.
You actually lost because you gave us a bad tiebreaker.
Because neither of us won or lost, and so we're thinking, well, maybe intern Adam owes us.
We know
I played you guys.
Look, I know you're a BYU guy, but I don't think you understand how Vegas lines work.
Clearly not, because I live in Utah. Yeah. So I don't have that much experience with Vegas.
All right, so y'all, again,
we're teaching him back.
3, yeah.
So I think on the record books, I think that one belongs to me. I played you all.
So both Ajay and I owe you a treat?
Yeah.
Is that how that works?
Even if you tie, like 100%, you all tie, I win. That's how it works.
There's something wrong with the intern
playing
us like that. That's okay.
All right, let's go ahead and go through 3 lines. Adam, you know your job. Go ahead.
Alrighty, let's start out with Sam Merrill points versus Boise State. The line is set at 26.5, over under.
Okay, this is saucy because Sam Merrill is 21 points away from the 2,000-point mark, 22 away from tying it, and 23 away from moving past Wayne Estes on the very exact night that 55 years ago, Wayne Estes hit the 2,000-point mark, but then tragically died just hours later after the game. So 27.5, he had 30 against Boise State at Boise State, even though they lost in overtime. Eric, over, under?
And the line is set at what again?
26.5.
I'm going to take the under.
I'm going to take the over. I think Sam has a heck of a night. I think he shows off for a sold-out crowd.
All right, moving on, we got James Harden points versus the Jazz, and the line is set at 41.5. Over, under.
Hey, everyone's just getting free practice shots on the Jazz, and Harden might as well.
I'm laughing about how similar our lines are. I'm going to take the under.
I'm going to take the under.
Okay, we got John Carlson versus the Flyers. This is an NHL line. This is a hockey line. So, really got to keep you on your toes. We got John Carlson versus the Flyers, and the line is set at 5.5. Over, under.
Now, 5.5 points.
Help me out, Gabby.
No, Gabby,
I got to go to a hockey expert
No,
here.
you can't use her as a lifeline. 5.5 points. Not goals, not assists, just points. Total for the game against the Flyers Saturday night.
She's not helping me out. I'm going to go under.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to go over.
Okay. Moving on, we got Merrill points, plus assists, and rebounds.
Fetch, you can't do that.
Why not? Yes,
he
I
added
can.
more. He just
it's
did
math.
Points. He got assists and rebounds. Anyways.
Wait, timeout. So wait, combined?
Combined?
I don't get this.
It's not rocket science. Combined points plus assists plus rebounds.
Okay.
The combined total
Is
of
what?
all three of those statistical categories. And what was the line?
31.5.
So wait, so he could have like 20 rebounds, 6 points, and 5 assists, and now you get over 31, right?
Yeah, I don't see the problem.
Yeah,
with
if
that.
he had that kind of a night.
Might be that kind of a night. Are you going over or under?
You go first this time.
Well, 31?
31.5.
Over.
I'm gonna go under.
You really think he's going to choke on Saturday night against
I'm gonna
Boise
get
State?
killed on that one, I know, but I'm gonna go under.
Okay.
Godspeed.
Next one, we got James Harden 3-pointer attempts versus Utah.
The heck?
The line is set at 14.5.
Oh, man. That's a good line. Because he could easily. I mean, it's the Jazz. He's going to be chucking. Oh, man. I think it's going to be like 13.5. Yeah, I'm going to say under.
I'll go take the over.
Really?
That's a lot of 3 points.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. We got Diogo Burrito assists versus Colorado State. The line is set at 5.5 over under.
Colorado State. So we're going to Tuesday night?
Sorry, I meant Boise State.
Okay. That's what's written down. I'm just the intern here.
Yeah, hey, you know what, Adam? You're doing your job.
Thanks, man.
Calm down. Wait, what was the line?
So,
5.5 assists.
Yeah.
For Burrito?
For Diogo Brito.
Oh, it's under. I don't see him getting 5.5.
I'm gonna take the over.
I think Bean's the assist guy. There's no way at Burrito. It's going to be all defensive purpose for him being on the court. And okay, what's our tiebreaker?
And
Okay.
the tiebreaker is the score to an XFL game, because I think that starts this weekend, right?
Is it this weekend?
Pretty
Or is it
sure
next?
I'm pretty sure it's this weekend.
Did you do your research or Adam the intern?
I sure did.
Okay, then we trust you.
All right.
Okay. And it's Seattle at DC. I want the score.
So Seattle's got a great quarterback. Their offense is about mediocre, but I think their defense has been really what the key
No
is.
one's played a game. You don't know
are
anything.
a degenerate, Ajay. I just
You
want
don't know
to that.
anything.
Whoa, I've been watching spring ball or winter ball. Wait, what was the
So
score?
we have to give a score?
Yeah.
I like this.
Closest score wins. Because clearly Pat Mahomes' turnovers isn't good enough.
This line you set, man.
Hey, I was right on. I wasn't in like.
So
I
wait,
wasn't
DC,
prediction
is that who they're playing?
Seattle versus DC.
31-27 Seattle. I think Seattle gets a big win.
I'm going to say there's going to be a lot of sloppy football in the first game of the season. So I'm going to say 21 for DC and 10.
Oh, wait,
For
can I change
Seattle.
my line?
No, he's got it in ink.
He hasn't
Too
even
late.
wrote it. Did you write it?
Yeah, I just wrote
it's
it
written
down.
down.
Well, okay, we haven't typed it up yet. 21-17 Seattle.
It's too late.
Yeah. I mean, I could scratch it out.
Yeah, you could.
I'll think about it.
All right, we need to get to a break. We've got a great
we got
guest
a guest
here
who's
in
been
studio.
waiting for us, and we've been making him wait.
Gary Wilkinson, former Aggie basketball great, and find out what some of his fond memories of playing at Utah State. Maybe a Stu Morrill anecdote, what he's up to, what he's done since leaving Utah State.
I can't wait for the Stu Morrill stories. Those are my favorite.
So all that's coming up right here on the Full Court Press, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, The Fan.
The Aggies, the Jazz, the high schools, the Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, The Fan.
Nice to meet you where you been. I could show you incredible things. Magic, madness, heaven, sin. Saw you there and I thought, oh my God, look at that face. You look like my next mistake. Love's a game, wanna play.
Eric Frandsen, Ajay, Salvesen here on the Full Court Press. Welcome on 106.9, 1390 AM and The Fan. Grateful to have you wherever and however you are joining us. Don't forget, you can stream us online at 1069thefan.com if you want to look up our past and previous episodes from this past week as we do our above average, what is it called again?
Our interview series with above average former Aggie basketball players.
Yes, that.
Just rolls off the tongue. I mean,
I'm working on it, man. You can find it on Stitcher, iTunes, and Spotify. We've had some great interviews, Eric. It's been a blast doing this with you. It really has.
Yeah, it's been fun.
It's been so much fun.
and the time that we have with them, it goes by so fast.
Oh, dude. That Stu Morrill interview went... Well, I mean, we'll go into it tomorrow, but just the amount of time he was willing to spend to do it was amazing. and it was a blast. We had Spencer Nilton on for 25 minutes or so yesterday. Bernard Rock was on for about 20 minutes. Troy Roll was on for 25. So it's been so much fun. And again, thank you to all those who have been a part of it so far. And we continue it now here on the Full Court Press. Joining us live in studio, which is pretty cool, Gary Wilkinson, one of 2 All-Americans from the front court in the big man area. Gary, thanks for your time, my man.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for having me on.
He was also the WAC Player of the Year. Don't leave that out.
That's true. I guess I mean, I know, Gary, you don't like to talk about yourself or hear about yourself. We could go through your list of accomplishments if you really want to. It is a very impressive list, to say the least.
That'd be a short segment.
No, one of the best to ever do it. He first team All WAC in 2009, second team All WAC in 2008. He was a WAC All Newcomer in 2008 as well. Third team All American in 2006, and a two-time first team All SWAC in 2006, 2007. So let's start there. What was your journey like to come to Utah State? How did that process go?
Yeah, we could fill
That's a long story in and of itself.
Yeah, but basically the Cliff Notes version, dropped out of high school, found my way back onto solid ground. Came home from LDS mission, decided I didn't want to pay for school. I was really tall, so I said, maybe I'll play basketball. Got a scholarship at Salt Lake Community College, and things just went up from there. Got recruited all over the country, and Utah State was the best fit for us, so we came up and decided to be Aggies.
Who first recruited you to Utah State?
Let's see, it would be Coach Ware. It was kind of a team effort, so I'd hear from Coach V, Coach Verlin, Coach Derrier, and Coach Ware just throughout my time at Slick. But I think that they weren't sold on me at first. They were kind of still deciding whether it was going to be me or Adrian Sturt from Snow College, but he didn't obviously end up there. So,
what was your first interaction with Stu Morrill?
Let's see. I have to think back about that. I think I heard from Coach. I didn't actually meet Coach till my recruiting trip. I came up and watched a couple games, and then on my recruiting trip, I sat in his office and this guy's intimidating. Yeah, Coach didn't really, he wasn't a salesman, he left that up to the other coaches. And so when you got in to talk with Coach, you kind of just knew he meant business, and I liked that. I was ready for that, but he was intimidating. I was scared of Coach until years after I was done playing at Utah State. Now I can approach him in a bit different, but but he's an intimidating guy.
Is he real? I mean, I guess as a coach, I've heard stories how players would be able to kind of sit down and have conversations as when they were playing for him that would be non-basketball related. Did you ever have a conversation like that? You don't have to go into deep detail if you don't want to, but did you ever have a conversation like that with him?
I tried. When I transferred from Slick, so to answer your question, not really. No. Okay. But there was one conversation. So all freshmen and transfer students had to do study time of combined student-athlete study time. But I transferred from Slick with a 3.9, and I'm like, I don't want to go to that. I can do it on my own, and it's just a waste of my time. So I created this whole spreadsheet of why I don't have to go to study time, and so I scheduled a meeting with them. So I get in there, and I was up, and I was nervous. And I go in and I hand him the sheet that I had taken, a good amount of time to prepare. He took 3 seconds look at the title and said, no. So I went to study time.
That's awesome. Hey, you were a part of some pretty special teams when you were here. You guys had a great run of success in the Western Athletic Conference. It seemed like there were great battles that were going on at that time. Nevada was a great team. There were some pretty good teams in the conference, but are there games or opponents that stand out the most in your mind when you reflect back on your playing days?
Yeah. I think one of Fresno, my senior season, so that'd be 08, 09, We played Fresno at Fresno, and we were right on the cusp of breaking top 20, top 25. I think it was kind of a must-win game for us to kind of define our season, and we battled hard, and we were up by 3 with like 0.6 seconds left, and then Sylvester Say hit this. I couldn't even hit that shot if I shot it 100 times, and he did it with like 0.6 left from like the free throw line of his side of the court. Yeah, and we battled through that one, and we ended up winning. And then to win the WAC tourney title against Nevada was a huge game. And Coach would always say during the year, like about January or February, I no longer coach this team; it's your team, and you guys are in control and you take responsibility. And I remember in timeouts during that game, like he couldn't even get a word in edgewise because we were talking so much about what needed to happen. We just rolled. And, that was just a nod to the quality of guys that Coach Morrill would recruit up here and his staff. I mean, they just pulled in guys that just wanted to win and were willing to dedicate themselves to do it. So, those are a couple games. I could go through pretty much every home game that we played because we won them all while I was here. So
it was impressive, 19 in a row. You guys won 19 in a row. It was something about Stu Morrill and conference winning streaks that made him so legendary here in Aggie. And this is again 19 in a row, which included, as you said, two wins over Fresno State, a gutsy win over Nevada. You beat New Mexico State, who was a thorn in the Aggie side for so many years, and you beat them not once but twice, including in the tournament. You guys beat them by 1 in that semifinal game. Do you remember that one, the conference semifinal?
Yes, I do, and I have to say that Tyler Newbold was the hero. I mean,
I don't remember this.
That guy was unbelievable. So we were down by 1. No, we were up by 1. We fouled New Mexico State had the ball. We fouled Young. I think it was Young. So he's at the line. He makes the first. He puts them up by 1 for, I can't remember. Anyway, they ended up being up by 1, but he missed the second free throw, and it went over my head, and so I missed the box out. It was like my fault. And Tyler Newbold comes flying in, grabs the rebound, jump ball, our ball. We get into a timeout. We run the play for Ty. Ty gets the ball, they double team him. He kicks it to Tyler Newbold in the corner. Tyler knocks down the jumper from the corner to put us in the lead to win the game. Newbie he's like the unsung hero. He's one of my favorite teammates of all time. He just did, excuse me. He just did everything for us. So.
You guys, Gary, it's interesting looking at the pattern in these stats. Sorry, Eric. Stat-wise, by the way, looking at the box, per game stat totals, Gary Wilkinson, Jared Quayle. In totals, Gary Wilkinson, Jared Quayle. Per 40 minutes, Gary Wilkinson, Jared Quayle. In advanced stats, Gary Wilkinson, Ty Wesley, then Jared Quayle. It seemed like there was always 3 or 4 guys really that were the core to helping this team become as great as they were that season. Is that would you correct that as fair, or would you say that there was more to the team than what we saw?
Yeah, I think those are the guys that kind of shouldered the load offensively. I know I definitely did not do that defensively. But like I said, Tyler Newbold was a guy that just did everything for us. And so he led the nation in assist to turnover ratio as a 3 my senior year. So, and that stat doesn't really get you much attention, but is quite a representation of your ability to carry a load. So, but obviously Ty was fantastic as a basketball player. He did so much, and then Jared was all over the court. And so, I mean, there's so many on that team. And then Pooh stepped up in the WAC tournament, and he guarded Armand Johnson during and he shut him down, which was a huge game plan, and he just did it. He just did a great job. So there were players who stepped up at different times. Matty Formasano knocked in a game winner in Santa Barbara. So it was always a team effort with us. We always kind of found a way to do it as a team.
In the end of that 08-09 season, you guys do get an NCAA invite. You end up going just up the road. You have to go far. It's a venue you're familiar with, and you battle Marquette. It was a back and forth game. Describe how that game played out, and just you were so close to breaking through and getting another NCAA win for the team that just continues to elude Utah State.
Yeah, it was a dark day in my life. But we had it. I mean, during the course of the year when we would work out wins, it would end up being we'd grind out a game, and then with about 4 or 5 minutes left, we'd start to be up 4, 5, 6 points, and then we would just have the character to ride it out. And that's exactly what happened. We were up, I think there was 4 minutes left, we were up by 6, and that's where we wanted to be. They came back, hit a few shots, and we ended up being down by 3 with like 25 seconds left. I got the ball at the top of the key, took a dribble, step back, 3, and it felt so good, but I faded away just a little bit. Shot was short. We lose. And it was brutal. I mean, I Coach Morrill, like, it was tough. We were a team, like, we beat Marquette. We were poised because that conference, the way that the schedule was working out, we had good matchups along the way. And, I don't know. Jared fouled out at the end of the game, which hurt us.
Oh, yeah,
that's right.
And and he was playing spectacularly. I mean, he played really well that game, and that just kind of, I don't think too in depth about that. It still frustrates me.
Coach brought up, and I hate to kind of stay on it, but he brought up an interesting scenario where I guess there's a ball that was shot, and if it grazes the rim, if I'm not mistaken, then it goes, I think, right into your hands. Instead, it's an air ball, and it goes into a Marquette player hand, and he ends up going to the other side and knocking down a bucket, and it kind of just snowballs from there. Instead, if that grazes off the rim, it goes into Gary's hand, and he has a wide-open layup, and you're up 8 now with like 2.5 minutes left or something like that, and the game's probably over. Like he says he like plays that game in his mind over and over and over again. He says it's the most heartbreaking loss he ever suffered in his career.
Well, yeah, I can agree with that. I haven't watched the game. My wife says it was the darkest day in our marriage because just riding the bus home, and then it was just we were rolling. We had a great momentum. We had an unbelievably talented basketball team. We were all, we all got along so well, and it was just one of those things where we wish you could have it back and do it over again.
Yeah.
One of the things that we've been asking these interviews with above-average former Aggie basketball players
Twister.
is just what did you do after Utah State when it was all said and done and you couldn't don the Aggie jersey anymore? You got to go play a little bit more afterwards. So tell us a little bit about that journey.
Yeah, so I curled up in the fetal position first when I couldn't don the jersey.
We can't blame you for that.
And then. So I went down to Las Vegas, started my NBA workouts. I flew out to a few teams, Lakers, Warriors, played summer league with the Jazz. Got invited to vet camp. I knew I wasn't going to make the NBA squad. Had a great offer in South Korea. So I went to South Korea, then Greece, then 3 years, played in the Australian League. We won 2 championships there. Went to Estonia, won a championship in Estonia. We played in a league that played all over Europe. And then decided to go to law school, but I took the LSAT, had to wait a year, so I went back to Australia to play one more season because I couldn't just sit around and spend my money, and then came back and went to law school at the University of Utah. But it was, I wouldn't trade playing overseas for anything. It was just a phenomenal experience, and to be immersed in those cultures. I actually ended up playing with Spencer Nelson in Greece.
Oh.
And that was a fun experience. Got to know him and his family really well, and then just living in these places was great.
I love Eric always asks this question. I got to ask it. Favorite Stu Morrill story?
There are quite a few. Some of them can't be repeated on the radio, but we had my junior year. Coach Morrill was not pleased with us and giving us the business in practice. And JC is down tying his shoe listening to Coach Morrill go on. But Coach Morrill is backing up as he's yelling at us. Or not yelling at us, firmly explaining things to us. And he didn't see JC, so he tripped backwards over JC onto the ground. And Stu's a big guy. He's a big guy, so he went down hard. And JC's just like, and we were all terrified of what was about to happen. I walked over, I help him up off the ground. Practice moves on. And then he came into the team room the next day before film, and he started off and say, I know that everyone in this room is deathly afraid of me because not one person cracked a smile when I fell yesterday. They're like, that's so true. That's so true. But that was a good one. But I loved playing for that guy.
Are you able to? We're not going to ask you to do it in here, but are you able to mimic the sweep dance?
I am not. I saw it a couple times in my career. He foretold that he was going to do the sweep dance when we won at Boise State my junior year, when we won the WAC, and he did the sweep dance, and it was 10 years ago was a time before we had cell phones as great as they are, but I don't know if anyone after me ever caught the sweep dance on film, but I think you could probably sell that for a good chunk because it eludes so many people. I get asked about, so tell me about the sweep dance, and I'm just like, you have to be there. You just have to be there and see Coach Moore, and especially at that time because Coach didn't show you when he was happy too often, and so those are one of the times where you're just like, he's happy, and if Coach Morrill's happy, we're all happy. So,
who's the best player you ever faced in your college career?
I mean, just trying to think. I mean, Paul George was at Fresno State when I was a senior. But I didn't look at him as like a player as like, oh, he's just so dominant, JaVale McGee was super talented.
Where was he at?
Nevada. He's in Nevada.
Nevada?
With Armand Johnson and Luke Babbitt. After Luke Babbitt. I'd have to say probably Luke Babbitt was super talented, and he was tough. He worked hard. Magnum Roll at La Tech was really good. So those are the guys that I remember about.
Do you still watch Aggie basketball to this day? Do you keep up to date with them, or you kind of separate yourself?
No, I don't separate myself from them by any means. I have 5 kids at home, but I catch up with it. If I don't go to the game or try to watch the game, I make sure that I catch up on the stats. And Ty and I have a basketball camp up every year that we invite the Aggie players to come and work out with the kids. And Coach Morrill is always good with us to help us have players, and Coach Smith's always been good with us to help us have players. So I try to keep in touch with people up there.
So last question for me, Sam Merrill is on pace to maybe break or the 2,000-point barrier mark on Saturday night with the anniversary of Wayne Estes. Sam Merrill, J.C. Carroll, do you see any similarities, comparisons? I know a lot of people like to compare those two players. What do you see out of Sam from what you saw from J.C.?
Yeah, so Sam is super talented. I think he has his all-around game is something that's really impressive. I was actually just out in Spain 2 weeks ago with J.C. Hanging around and going around, and he's shown me what life's like for a European superstar. But JC is probably I played with JC and another guy named Kirk Penny who went to the Final Four at Wisconsin. I played with him in Australia. 2 best scorers I've ever played with. Guys could just fill up the stat sheet like nobody's business. And JC, he's got that killer mindset that it's really rare to where you can just and it's not a knock on him. He could shoot 10 times and miss every shot and take the next shot without feeling bad about it, it's a great quality to have as a scorer. I had a limit of how many shots, so I started to feel bad, which I wish I didn't have, but it was my teammates may not have thought so, but it was there. But Sam's all-around game, defensively, he's a two-way player. You put him on your best player on defense, you put him, and he's your best player on offense. He's a guy that can pass the ball, and I've really loved watching Sam play and develop as a player. I'm really impressed with the steps that he's taken and I know how much work it takes to play at that level. I mean, I remember so my senior year, I was the preseason player of the year for the Western Athletic Conference, and you put a lot of pressure on you. I mean, I don't play basketball, and I know Sam doesn't. To win those individual awards, you want to win, but there's a lot of pressure to be that, and each game makes a difference with that, and trying to deal with that pressure and stay focused and stay driven and stay unselfish and committed to your team. That's a lot as a player. So I've been extremely impressed with his poise and his ability to kind of weather that storm.
Gary, it's been an honor and a pleasure. Thank you for spending some time with us. We really appreciate it, and thanks for all you've done for Utah State University.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming down.
Yeah.
This is fun.
Yeah, thank you.
It's fun to catch up with the former great ones.
It's amazing.
See what they're doing now and the memories of when they played. It's been a ton of fun. So thank you for coming down and joining us,
Thanks,
being part
guys.
of it.
Full Court Press coming up here in the second hour.